you've come back from field, you've done all your research, you've gotten lots of raw data, lots and lots of raw data, whether that be in the form of transcripts, from interviews that you've done, from videos, from photos, or any other artifacts that you have. But at the end of the day, it is just data. It means nothing until it has been analyzed. And it's a lot to go through, and it's overwhelming. To make matters worse, these pieces of data are related, and they have complex dynamics and relationships to uncover. So one might wonder where to begin. And this is the process I like to use. It's called coding. And no, I don't mean coding software or writing software. I simply mean identifying patterns and identifying themes, identifying codes that come up over and over and over and over again in your data. And I like to use, the hashtag, the idea of the hashtag, because that's exactly what we're doing. We are tagging pieces of data with words and phrases, and then collating them and further categorizing them. But really, tagging pieces of data with patterns that are coming up over and over again. And this can be used for transcripts, it can be used for videos, it can be used for any type of data, really. Now let's take an example. Here's a little piece of text. Let's assume that this was the first interview transcript. What you'd be looking at and what you'd be doing really is exactly this. Bring out your highlighters, have fun with them. Do it on Excel, do it on Word. We'll talk about tools in another video. But what you're really doing is you're picking up meaningful sentences, right? You're picking up meaningful pieces of data, and you're assigning a pattern or code here, right? Whether that's a hash, whether that is poor attention span, starting jobs keen to please becomes hashtag people pleasing, resigning impulsively during a bad day at work, hashtag impulsivity. There's another one here which we're going to do now. When watching TV, he was constantly switching channels to see what else was on. Also hashtag impulsivity. There's some stuff in green here around shame and self-loathing, etc., etc. So very simply, this is exactly what you'll be doing when we have to code. Lots of qualitative data, and you can do it for the others as well, for the other types of data as well, because it's still the same idea. Meaningful pieces of data that you're assigning a code or hashtag to. What you're going to end up with then is something like this, where you've gone from raw data into identifying meaningful pieces of data and then assigning codes to them. And think of these codes very much like little pockets, right? And then you're just adding more and more and more and more data into each of these little pockets. So eventually, when you want to look up people pleasing and what your data has to say about people pleasing, you open that pocket and then you look at all the pieces of data that you have. When we do it from left to right, like we've done just now, that's called the emergent process, because what you're doing is you're creating codes from raw data. You could also do it right to left, where you have a bunch of codes that you already know, or you might have an early idea of, because you have hypotheses going into the research. That way, you just have the codes written down, and then you follow the same process where you're tagging meaningful pieces of data and assigning them to a pre-existing code, and then you can have more codes going into it. And what we've just learned to do is called open coding. In the next video, we're going to take this process further.